Good to be back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 75,000 subscriber live stream. Wonderful to see all of you here. What is going on? Let's get that going there. There we go. Look at all of you wonderful people in the chat. Packers is here. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. Here's to some more. Here's to you guys, first off. Cheers. I want to shout out JT, who says, Happy Friday, Legends. Thank you for the congrats, dude. Appreciate it. Patrick is here. Good to see you again, my friend. Let's friggin' go. Cutthroat. Raj, 77KJ. Mo is here as well. Average Gamer. Stacy. Good to see you, my friend. And Bowler. Look at all you guys. You guys are all here to hang out with me on a Friday. I appreciate it very much. Okay, we're going to get into what I think is a pretty fun topic for sure. We're going to do my top 30 games. I've been asked over the years, and it was really kind of difficult to come up with a list of 30 games. So, channel members, I did write in the Discord. If you guys want to play along, definitely have your lists as well. And I don't expect everyone to have 30, but if you guys, everyone in the chat, if you want to do like your top 10, so we can kind of go through these together, and we'll see if we agree or disagree with each other's lists. Shout out to Dan as well. Good to see you, brother. So, top 30, let's see. I do have a special treat for you guys. Although it's maybe a little embarrassing. But I do have a kind of a special treat. We'll have to see how this stream goes. I do have queued up my very, very first YouTube video. My very, very first YouTube video. Oh, from December 2019. So if you guys want, we can kind of take a trip down Hellride Lane and watch that. It's not pretty, my friends. I'm telling you right now, it is not pretty. It's awful. It's cringe. Oh, dude, it's so cringe. It's so cringe. Maybe we'll get into that. So let's start back this journey again. 2019 is when I started my trip on YouTube. And I was going to do... Originally, it was a Star Wars theme, although it was always just my name for the channel. But I kind of wanted to do like a Star Wars theme for the channel. And then we kind of got more into the toys. We were doing action figure adventure at the time. So I'm like, hey, you know what? This is a lot of fun. I'm going to do some toy reviews and toy talk and things like that. Did that for a couple of years, which was fun as well. And then due to everything going on with the toy market, just in general, kind of started to really lose interest. And thought, maybe, you know what, maybe I should do some game streaming. So in October 2022 was my very first stream. Shout out to Dale the First for being the first person to watch my stream. And it was Fortnite. I was playing with my buddy Zach, and I streamed on YouTube, and it was Dale was the only viewer. So shout out to Dale the First for that. And that kind of leads us to here. Now we are all 100% games. So, never been happier. This is exactly where I'm meant to be on YouTube. I love doing the game stuff. So thank you to everybody who kind of came over from just the toys. I find most people like both anyway. As I've said before, video games are pretty much just toys anyway. They really are. It's the same thing. Wake up, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? Dan, good to see ya. Mighty Skyfall is here. Thanks, my friend. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys, very much. All right, we're going to get into my list. Now, if you guys don't have 30, that's fine. We can just discuss mine. But these are my all-time top 30 games. And it took a while to come up with this list, and a bunch of them got rearranged and moved around and that kind of thing. But I have come up with my top 30, and we will go through each one, and we will discuss why. And then, like I said, I do have a surprise where we can watch my very first YouTube video 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Neil, son of a lips, thank you. Appreciate it. 75K. And again, before we get into that, shout out to each and every one of you guys who support the stream, channel members through super chats. Thank you for keeping me going, and thank you for being a part of this community. I can't thank you guys enough. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Feels like Thursday to you? Yeah, kind of, doesn't it? Yeah. Kind of. Cheers. Hope you guys have your coffee. All right, number 30. Are we ready? My 30th favorite game of all time is Night Trap for the Sega CD. Now I know what you're saying. Jay, you son of a hipster. This is just a hipster pick. You can't possibly think this is one of your favorite games. It just can't be. Say it ain't so, Jay. Will it be so, guys? I'm sorry to disappoint you. Although you will find probably a lot of the usual suspects on my list. After all, I'm only human. The hipster in me cannot help but to give it the 30th spot to the greatest game on the Sega CD. One that I'm probably more interested in for the history, the birth of the ESRB, the first version of the ESRB, the controversy that this and Mortal Kombat stirred up, one of my favorite topics to discuss within the history of video games. The game is good, but I will say really took on a new life when Limited Run released a physical copy of it a few years back. There's a few quality of life changes that they did to Night Trap, being one that I think it's the 6 or 8 cameras that you see each room in constantly move now, so you could kind of have an overall visual of all the cameras. For those of you who aren't familiar with Night Trap, excuse me, I will explain. It is not you hunting down college girls and destroying them. No, that's what the politicians of the 90s would have you believe. That's not what this game is about at all. This game is about a super secret agency of vampire hunters that create a house full of traps and trap these vampires and destroy them and protect the kids. And there's not just women. There's men here as well. Night Trap, that's a guilty pleasure. No, I actually really do like it. I love full motion video games. And Night Trap is up there. That's my number 30. How are we going to do this? We're going to just go here. 29. Okay, so we got to... Hang on, this is a new part of the program I'm dealing with here, so I'll move that. All right, number 29. Can anyone take a guess what number 29 was? Not much being said about Night Trap. Come on, guys, a little disappointed there. My 29th favorite game of all time is this bad boy. We got ourselves a $5 super chat. The first of the day comes from the mighty HGC. Thank you, dude. For the legends, Dude Bros, and Aunt Connie Fanatics. $5. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's go. Let's friggin' go. It is low on the list. Yeah. So I looked at it a number of different ways, JT. I looked at it like, how many times have I replayed it, and does that matter? Since the year of its release, how many times have I actually gone through it and played it, and does that play a factor in me deciding if it should be on the list or not? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Average Gamer says it would be in my top 10. No. I've only ever finished it once. That was when I made the history of video, and that was torture enough. But the game itself is extremely addicting. It's extremely difficult, and you guys know I like really hard games. I just do. Ninja Gaiden was made by Tecmo. It was released in 1989, and one of my best buddies, Darren, who I talk about in the history video, was he taught me a lot about gaming. He taught me a lot about not giving up, persevering, pushing through the difficult times in a game, not letting the game beat you. Darren taught me all this stuff, and it was through this game right here. Ninja Gaiden. Bowler says that's my number 1, but not at least it's in my top 30. Yeah, of course it's in there. Night Trap is number 30. You only finished it once in 2016. Yeah, so it's one that I often play, but it's not one that I can go through and play and finish every single time. That's why it's a little lower on the list. Do you know what I mean? Plus, I know it's going to be quite a hefty workout. What's up, Willie? Fantastic game. I mean, just look at this box art. The IP was so great that Tecmo created an arcade game and an NES game. 2 different teams that made 2 different styles of games. The arcade was a beat 'em up, which I'm not a huge fan of. I know there's a lot of people that like the Ninja Gaiden arcade game over the NES one. I am not one of those people. Play Ninja Gaiden with the Power Glove. I want to do like Dark Souls with like Guitar Hero controllers. I've seen that before. That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. You guys hear the music okay? Is it too low? Is it too high? Boba Wave, been a while, my friend. Wonderful to see you. How are you? Yeah, unfortunately, this program is going to be going bye-bye at the end of the month. Music is low. It's too low? Turn it up a little bit. I don't want to drown myself out, but it's fine. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, so I remember my friend Darren finishing this. And for anyone who doesn't know, when you get to the end boss, you fight your father, then you fight the Jacquio, and then you fight the demon. So there's 3 different bosses within this gauntlet. And if you die, you go back to the beginning of 6-1. Which is it's really a far way back. Cutthroat, are you live? I don't think you're live, buddy. You might be a few seconds behind. What are you talking about, naked women? Yeah, I think you're behind the stream, buddy. All right, moving on to number 28. So if you guys want to do, let's say, get your top 5. If everyone wants to write their top 5 down, I think that's reasonable. That'll give you like a lot of this stream to come up with it. Don't say it now. We'll do it together when we get to our top 5. Number 28. Ned, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. I love Galaga winning the poll. The opening of Ninja Gaiden is still a 10 out of 10. Absolutely. Where do I start with this one? It is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It is further down the list because I don't find myself playing it a lot. My love for Phantasy Star 2, definitely most of the love I have for it stems from my childhood, picking it up at Toys R Us, that whole experience. Never finished Phantasy Star 2. It's very difficult, it's very grindy, but there's something about the world of Phantasy Star. I feel like they improved on a lot over the first one. The first one had the first-person dungeons, which were technically a really big achievement. that Sega could pull that off on the Master System. Right, so a big achievement, but it also made for some very difficult navigation. And Sega has corrected this. If you purchase Phantasy Star now on like the Nintendo Switch, they have navigation systems for the dungeon, so it is still first-person view, but there's maps now. Whereas before there was no map, right? HGC, you are so great at the RPGs and recommending. You've recommended some great ones. You're very knowledgeable. I would say you should check out Phantasy Star, man. You would really enjoy it. For the longest time, I was a Phantasy Star guy over Final Fantasy. I still think overall I am. Overall. Was it turn-based? Yeah. Yeah, it was turn-based. So this is number 28 on my list. Oh, you didn't have a Genesis. Yeah. Usually it was one or the other, right, mate? People usually had the Nintendo being the NES or the Super, or they had Master or Genesis. But I love this game. I can't say enough good things about it. Definitely, like I said, a lot of it is bathed in nostalgia, 100%. I did stream it on Twitch a couple years ago. It was just me and Zero hanging out for the whole stream pretty much. And it was tough because the first part of any Phantasy Star, at least 1 and 2, you really have to grind. You have to do the grind. Jim, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Oh, you had one, but down HEC says dude down the road. Oh, the dude down the road had one, but he only had football games. Gotcha. Genesis did play the sports games better. Oh, thanks, Raj. All right, that is number 28 on my list. The Mighty Phantasy Star. You gotta do one at a time. Number 27. The greatest mascot of the 90s mascot wars, bar none. Fight me. Forget Mario. Forget Sonic. Forget Aero the Acrobat. Forget Boogerman. Forget all of them. We got Bonk. Shout out to Willie Lowe with the 1 gifted membership. Thank you so much, dude, for the support. Let's keep it going, my friends. Appreciate it very much. So here we go at Bonk's Adventure. Is it better than Mario? No. Is it better than Sonic? No. It's just not. Let's be real here. But to me it is. Bonk was a very unique character from a very unique system, from a very unique time in history. So this first game, I still think overall is probably the best. It didn't get too, like the later ones get a little ridiculous in my opinion, but this first one, does it play the best? No. But there's something about the big, bright sprites, the cartoony characters, just how giant the bosses were, and the colors of the TurboGrafx 16. Thanks, Willie. Much love. Jim says, I'm curious to see if Shining Force on the Genesis makes the list. Stay tuned, my friend. Is it better than Alex Kidd? Yes. It was hard not to put Alex Kidd on here, but to be quite frank, Mr. Wake Up, those games suck. They just play awful. As much as I love Alex Kidd, they play awful. They really do. I always put Bonk in Adventure Island. Oh, with Adventure Island? I liked Adventure Island more. I mean, Adventure Island is basically a reskinned Wonder Boy, right? This is more, I don't know, it's kind of in between Mario and Sonic, I would say. Level design, I would say it's more in line with Sonic. But anyway, it was more unique in the way that Bonk would just power up by eating like these big slabs of meat. He would just become like this stone immovable object. I thought it was a really cool power up. He would blow smoke out. King Drool, the final boss, is one of the coolest looking bosses of the late 80s and 90s. Echo is better than Alex Kidd? No. Wrong. Echo is terrible. Sorry, buddy. Echo is... I think it's terrible because it's hard. And it's one of those games where you can't really see the whole map. You end up going in circles and stuff like that. But hey, man, these are our opinions. This is great. Actually, Echo Jr. Oh, okay. I read you. Christoph, hello. Good to see you, dude. Difficult to love, not to love a character named Bonk. Exactly. Look at the artwork. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Anyway, there's a lot of nostalgia with that one as well. But nonetheless, I really, really appreciate Bonk. Hey, Christoph, I'm doing good, man. How are you? How's things? You hanging in there? 26. Number 26. We are not doing Watch Mojo. We're not doing IGN. We're doing the Jay Bartlett 75,000 subscriber top 30 of all time countdown, according to me. My personal favorite games that I love more than anything. Number 26 is Tony Hawk. Some of these are just generic images, but I wanted to make sure that the Nintendo 64 version of Tony Hawk was represented here. Although I do like the PS1 version, it's all about the 64 version with this particular game. Tony Hawk, I mean, not only is he the Michael Jordan of skateboarders, just paving the way for that whole sport and just taking it to new heights back in the day, but this game itself was really a shining star. In a C, we had stuff like ESPN Sports, 720, Skate or Die. I'm trying to think of other skateboard games. They're all right, but this one did two things absolutely right. One, it was 3D. Just blew everybody away with the 3D environments. Two, you could pick a professional skater. Actually got me back into skating. But three, and I think the most important, was the licensed music. The licensed music in this game is friggin' amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Some of the tracks I knew, obviously Superman by Goldfinger, love Goldfinger. Some I didn't know, but heck, all those tracks are now some of my favorite music tracks. 2 even expanded on this further. 3 and 4, it kind of gets muddy for me. And then I think that the series really reinvented itself when Underground came out, and I can't remember the year. But when Tony Hawk Underground came out, I would say it was just as important as this very first game. You still have your copy of Skate or Die? Skyfall says the music was cool too, Tony Hawk. Yeah, it was great. It was just cool. And the fact that you could have all those tunes on the 64 too, I thought was really, really awesome. Just very, very cool. Any objections to Tony Hawk being at 26? I guess you can't really object to someone's personal list, right? Surprised by anything so far, guys? Remember the cart was blue? for the original Tony Hawk. Remember his blue card? Skate punks really brought the California punk scene to the mainstream. Did they? That I don't know about, Jim. I watched when I got into skating. My cousin and I would share a tape back and forth from I don't know if it was the X Games, but it was. I remember seeing Rodney Mullen's street performance, like his routine that he did, and then Hawk, of course, was the vert champ. Then just seeing those dudes was really crazy. And Tony Hawk was just a kid, man. This was kind of the game, like, I would say this is like maybe Guitar Hero in some way, in the fact that even if you weren't like a skateboarding fan, you could still enjoy this game. The game was that good. It was just a fun game, you know? You never played it, JT? Oh, yeah. I think they just announced 3 and 4. If you're going to play it, play the PS1 or the 64 one. I've heard that the remake of 1 and 2 is not that great, although I cannot confirm. I just remember it came out and everyone like pooed on it for whatever reason. Yeah, just a great game. All right, we're moving on. We're into the 25, the top 25. Music. Let's put the punk theme back on. So Little Samson was created by Taito. Later released NES game from 1992. There are 2 main reasons why I think this game is amazing. One, because Takaru had ex-employees of Capcom, so when you play Little Samson, when you boot it up, it's very, very, very obvious that this game is heavily inspired by Mega Man, and this was the first history video I did. I really wanted to find out why. Well, many of the developers from Mega Man came to Takaru, and Taito, being the amazing company that they are, also wanted a cutesy little mascot to compete with all the mascots of this era. And Little Samson was going to be that. Unfortunately, because the game was released in 1992, the second year the Super Nintendo was released, no one really cared. Have you ever played it, Cutthroat? You don't have to be sorry. Have you ever played it? It's pretty much Mega Man. So the 4 characters you could switch between at any time. It's pretty much just Mega Man. Power Blade 2? No. No. Stadium events? Well, we'll have to see. The second reason this is on the list is because the rarity. This is a grail, not only in NES, in the NES library, but in the video game collecting community. Little Samson is always brought up as one of the most sought-after games. But I will say, unlike Stadium events and maybe some other games that are worth a ton of money, this one justifies the cost because it's actually a good game. Where Stadium events, does anybody really want to play with the power pad? I don't know, maybe some of you do. I don't. Ned, it's really good. Yeah, it's like Mega Man. But that is appealing to me since I am a collector. I do love the fact that this has such a great story attached to it. And then, like a lot of the later released NES games, Chip and Dale 2, DuckTales 2, Pro-Am 2, they just didn't sell. Mega Man 6, they just didn't sell because they were released later in the life cycle of the system, right? Can you borrow my copy? Will, of course you can. Deal. HGC says I played California Games with the power pad. It was fun for 10 minutes. Oof. Oof. Little Samson at 25. So as you can see, where we've started here, it's not always just about the gameplay. For me, it's about the entire presentation of the game, the history of the game, the gameplay. You know, we haven't talked about score a lot outside of Tony Hawk. All these games share something familiar too, where the score is really good. Even Night Trap, when they start doing the karaoke at the party, that song rocks. And those of you who were there know what I'm talking about. That part in that game absolutely rocks. So Little Samson sits at number 25, my 25th favorite game of all time. That's hilarious. 25. 24. We're missing one. I'm missing number 23. So we'll just have to bring up an image here. Give me a sec, guys. So we're using StreamYards here. And the program, for whatever reason, is like messing me up. It won't use some file types. All right. Okay, so we're going to be missing one. There you go. That's hilarious. So we're going to go to number 24. So number 23 is missing. I'll just have to tell you what it is. Number 24. HCC, I just canceled my sub to StreamYard. It's like I'm plugging my mic now. Can you guys hear me? Test, test. Hello? As soon as I say I'm canceling my sub to StreamYards, it unplugs my mic. Isn't that hilarious? There we go. Check, check. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it's just too much money. It's like $50 a month. So it's also the program Will and I use for the EGM reads, so gonna have to find something else. It's just too much, man. Too much money. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft was previously my number one favorite game for a long, long time. My latest kind of interaction with this game really left a bad taste in my mouth and has really pushed it way far down. It was almost off the list completely just because of all the stuff that's going on with Blizzard. And I know I shouldn't look at the company as a whole, but it's tough to do that with all the stuff that's happened. It just is really... The quality, I think, of Warcraft has gone down over the years. But it's still there. I spent probably most of my gaming life in the 2000s on playing this game. Do I regret it? No. Like Will and I have said before, though, you know, there's so many games during the 2000s that we did miss out on because of WoW, but those memories in WoW I wouldn't change for the world. I really wouldn't. I finally said goodbye to it during the pandemic, where I caught myself playing 12 to 18 hours a day, and I just sit there, guys, and I think about what I could have done. This was before I learned how to play guitar. So if I started learning guitar during the pandemic instead of playing this game for 12 to 18 hours a day, you get the drift, right? You liked Warcraft 2? Yeah, Warcraft 2 was good, for sure. And Warcraft 3. Den with the gifted. Let's go, buddy. Let's get that up here. Appreciate the support, man. Very, very much. Congrats to Jason. Robert, welcome back. Matt Cave. Chef Jess, Fun with Collecting. Welcome on back. You can thank Santa Den for that, and thank you for supporting the channel, brother. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. 12 to 18 hours, Cutthroat. I think the race in the game is called the Volpera, or the Voldanai. I always get them mixed up. Whatever it was, it's the little fox race from the Horde side. And back then in 2020, you had to grind reputation with a faction. With the Volpera, I think they're called. Anyway, you had to grind out reputation with a faction in order to unlock that race of character. And then I wanted to make a Voldenai shaman. So yeah, 12 to 18 hours we were doing that a day, and I finally ground it out in a couple of days, which is really embarrassing because this is the kind of thing that would take you months to do. How embarrassing. Anyway, I don't shame those that play MMOs because they are a powerful game. 100%. Shout out to WoW. Just unfortunately, it's completely dropped off my list. So there you go. So again, 23 is missing. I'm just going to put it up here and say that it was 7 days to die. And for whatever reason, StreamYards doesn't like the file of the image, so I can't bring it up. But 7 days to die was my number 23. For those of you who don't know what 7 Days to Die is, it's a crafting game revolving around a zombie apocalypse. Every 7th day, zombie hordes come down on you for a certain amount of time, and they find wherever you are on the map, and they attack you, and they try and kill you, that kind of thing. Hey, Matt. Good morning, my friend. Yeah, the StreamYards doesn't like the image I selected for 7 days, so it won't come up. So we're actually on 23. But yeah, I had such a great time with playing that game with the community. Multiplayer is what really made that game fun. But the idea that anything in the world could be destroyed and built upon, much like Minecraft, was really cool. And I love the whole zombie theme. It's one of my favorite themes in games or movies. So there you go. So that was... We don't have an image to show, but 7 Days to Die was great. 22. Anyone guess what 22 is? 22. You guys are thinking, is that Jeff Daniels? Mario Twins? No. Strider. Specifically for the Genesis. This is number 22 on my list. Strider is a game created by Capcom, released in the arcades, and in 1990, a home port was made for the Sega Genesis that Capcom did not program, but Sega did. And Sega is exceptional at porting games. So this is Strider ported over to the Genesis by Sega. This game was a graphical, like if you were going to wow somebody back in the day, you would show them Strider. Strider was the graphical equivalent of what heaven would be like. The game is absolutely incredible. It's just a more or less simple action game where you can grapple and grab on all the walls. You have this sword that moves really quickly, and it makes kind of like a sonic boom kind of motion. So you got like the flash, like when Guile does sonic boom. This is the Western artwork, which is absolutely terrible. For some reason back in the day, Sega of America didn't think that the Japanese artwork would fly here. Didn't think that we would like it. Oh, how they were wrong. So in games like Strider that were, created in Japan, we would get artists redoing the arts. This is not what Strider looks like at all. This is a more westernized version. It's terrible. It looks like Quantum Leap, whoever that guy is. Scott Bakula. JT, such a great port. Sega version is really cool. Yeah, it is. It's awesome. What's up, Shane? How you doing? Dropping by to say congrats, my man. Great job. Also hit that like button. Yes. Everyone hit that like button. And again, while I got everybody here again, I'm going to say this a bunch of times. I really can't thank you all enough. I'm really in a state of shock. I'm very happy. I'm excited with where the channel's going. And I just want to thank each and every one of you guys through watching the videos. I know a lot of this stuff is video-based. But everyone who comes to the live streams and supports the live streams, thank you so much. Because, again, if you guys weren't here, If you weren't hanging out with me, who would I be streaming to? Nobody, that's who. Nobody. Bowler, yeah, the arcade version's good. But I will say it's like Contra. I don't think it's as good as the home port. And that's clearly because I've spent more time with the Genesis. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only reason. Neil says, so this is better port than the NES. Yeah, the NES was more like a reimagining. Because it couldn't even come close to what... This is like a... Think of the arcade game. This is like an exact port of the arcade game. Skyfall with the $10 super sticker. That's a super sticker. Thank you so much, mate. My love to you and for the constant support that you give me. I'm really, really humbled. So thank you. Oh, I'm looking, Raj. I'm looking. If you guys have not played Strider, it's pretty accessible everywhere now. I would say you owe it to yourself to carve out a few hours and play the very minimum the Genesis version. Although the arcade version is probably way easier for you to find on the Switch and stuff like that. But check out Strider; it's friggin' fantastic. 22. All right, we are 21. Can anyone guess what 21 is? You never played Strider? Yeah, man. It's one of Capcom's, I would say, lesser known IPs. It's still not very popular. I don't know how I ever came upon Strider. I ran across it in an arcade I used to go to in a beach town around here called Grand Bend. They had Strider and I played it and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So when this was coming to home, when it was coming to the Genesis in 1990, it was like very similar feelings to when Street Fighter came. It was like, oh my god, there's going to be a home port of that game, and it actually looks really decent. And it is. This game kicks butt. 21! Average Gamer, you remember the garage? You remember the garage? The big steel garage door. That's the one I was talking about. I think there was two. Splatterhouse. This game originally was created by Namco. I believe this port is Namco too. I thought Hudson did it for some reason. No, this is a port by Namco. Splatterhouse is interesting. Horror games really were sporadic, and it wasn't really a genre back then. So this game was released in 1990 for the TurboGrafx 16. To my knowledge, the only home port of the first game. It's based off of the arcade game with the same name, with a few changes. Graphically, it's not as impressive, but it's pretty damn good. Due to licensing issues, of course, Rick, who's our protagonist, has a red hockey goalie mask instead of the white one, because Friday the 13th and all that. Even though it looks like he has a white one on the box art here. This game was a system seller. It's a very short game. It's a very difficult game again. I love my hard games. Splatterhouse is brutally hard, brutally unforgiving, but I love it. All right, Willie. What games I missed? Okay, Matt. So Matt, number 30 was Night Trap. Number 29 was Ninja Gaiden for NES. Number 28 was Phantasy Star 2. Number 27 was Bonk. 26 was Tony Hawk. 25 was Little Samson. 24 was Warcraft. 23 was 7 Days. I never played this in the arcade. I never knew that this was even an arcade game. I just knew that this game where you were basically Jason, even though you're not, you got to be like, quote unquote, the bad guy. Even though you weren't, it was still cool that you were this like horror icon come to life, right? You got to pick up different weapons, and the way that you took care of the enemies, it was completely different, and depending on what weapon you had. It's just such a great game. I love horror, right? It's my favorite genre of anything. So this was really appealing. And again, back then, horror games were like sporadic. Not like now, where it's an actual genre. Back then it wasn't. But this game remains... Maybe it should have been a little higher. I'm thinking maybe it should have been a bit higher. I don't know. I have Splatterhouse Guilt right now. Okay. So, Bowler and Matt, let me address why Ninja Gaiden is not as high. It's a perfect game except for the programming error, which was when you die at the boss, you go back to 6-1. That was never supposed to be in the final game. Whoever missed it, and the final version of Ninja Gaiden came out, and when you die at any of the 3 bosses, you go back. That's horrible. I can't stand that. And it's just as cheap as Ninja Gaiden 3, the US version, where when you take a hit, you lose 3 or 4 health bars. I just think it's unnecessarily punishing. That's not a skill thing, that's just punishment. So I can't put it higher because every time I boot up Ninja Gaiden, as much as I love it, there's that punishment in the back of my head that I think is really unfair. It doesn't mean it's not a great game. That's my explanation. Yeah, just don't lose your life in it. That's fair. That's fair. I'm not quite there, buddy. I'm not up to your level. Okay. 20. Let's go. We are in the top 20 of my favorite video games of all time, the top 30. Again, if you guys would like to join in, I would really like to have you maybe at the top 10, the top 5 at the minimum. I would say if you guys want to jot down your top 10 or your top 5, we can kind of go through that together. I know 30 is kind of, it's a lot. But if you guys want to play, that would be great. Mighty Mutron has arrived. 75KJ and the Legends Club. I have arrived. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, is an underrated gem. And if I may be so bold, one of the greatest Zeldas ever made. The only Zelda game where you can actually build Link how you want to, even though the end game is all the same. How you start off is very important. Where you can put it into your magic, you can put it into your experience points into magic, health, or you can put it into your damage. Sarge, what's going on? You voted Galaga, but my heart says Tron. I read you. Thanks for joining in. Lots of people here. We are celebrating 75,000 subscribers thanks to you, the Legends Club. Thank you so much. Dungeon theme is epic, yeah. You can, like the original Zelda, kind of tackle the dungeons out of order a little bit if you know what you're doing, so I don't mind that. There was no norm back then. Miyamoto was not sure where Zelda was going to go, if we were going to go the isometric 3/4 top-down view, or we're going to do a side-scroller. So this being the second ever Zelda game made, it was very different from the first. Big difference is The Legend of Zelda on the NES is a difficult game. But this game here is extremely punishing. Like, it's extremely punishing. And I love it. Because I think the punishment is justified. Ninja Gaiden, I think it's cheap. This game, I think it's totally justified. Difficult game to grind out. A difficult game to master, 100%. Where did Zelda go? She was always the one in trouble until Ocarina. Well, this one, she's like sleeping. She has a sleep spell put on her. If that's what you mean. Do you have the rule to only include one game per franchise? I do not. I do not, Bowler, because these are my favorite games of all time. Yeah, so no. That's a good idea though, but I didn't exclude anything. No weird rules. Just straight up my top 30. Raj says, Jay, did you know the new Daredevil series is out? Yes, I did. I saw the trailer. It looks fantastic. That's my guy. That's my favorite superhero. All right, we're in the top 20. I'm excited. Not a lot of hate from you guys over Zelda 2. A lot of people really dislike this game, so I'm impressed. Number 19. Are we ready? Oh. See, again, they're telling me I can't share more than 10 images. Oh my god. Not gonna miss this. Not gonna miss this. So, I guess we're not doing a recap at the end visually. That's okay. Let's try that again. Oh, StreamYards. It's been fun. All right, number 19, ladies and gentlemen. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. They hate it because they need to get good at it. Only a small percentage, my good friend, like to be punished like we do. Grand Theft Auto Online. Not to be confused with Grand Theft Auto 5. This is not Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm not the biggest Grand Theft Auto 5 fan, as I've stated many times. But Grand Theft Auto Online gives us all those great characters, except we get to create our own character and craft our own story the way we want to do it. Played it a few times over the years, was turned off by the lack of things to do and the pay-to-win kind of mentality for it. Tried it again in 2024, and you guys know, you guys who are hanging around the streams, you know that we played this religiously almost every community day, if not every other. After 7 days, we jumped kind of right into this. Mutron says, Jay, I finally threw out my calendar. It's days recovered. Shout out to the crew for GTA Online. Shout out to JT, Just Jeff, Matt Tracker Ruben, Den of Geek. I think that's all that we've played. It's played. I was hoping that this one for Community Day would go over a little bit better. But this game, you have to buy Grand Theft Auto, so I get it. And on top of that, the learning curve for Grand Theft Auto Online is very steep. There's no getting around that. When I jumped into this in 2024, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was very confused. It seemed very overwhelming. But once you get into it, and it takes a while, it's just so good. I love GTA Online. I love it. My eldest kid, HEC says, got interested in GTA compilation videos of insane car stunts because I was watching a Saturday Bartlett live stream. Ah, no way. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and again, it's, you know, I think GTA 3 was the game that coined the term, what, sandbox game, right? Being that you are a kid in a sandbox and you can play however you want. You can use whatever toys you want. Whatever's in the sandbox, you can use. Right? It's amazing. Wake Up says, anyone who badmouths Zelda 2 should be forced to play the 3 CDI games until they crack. That's a good punishment. Number 18 is Link Faces of Evil. I'm just kidding. Den says, why is it better to lose your health during summer and winter seasons so you don't have to worry about fall damage? Oh my god. We got 2 jokesters in the house over here. 2 jokesters in the house. Anyway, the model of this game now is very different than when it launched back in 2013. And Grand Theft Auto Online is a ton of fun, especially now that you have private servers. So you don't have to worry about getting destroyed by, you know, Wild Weasel and the friggin' Rattler coming down if you just have a taxi cab or a little motorbike to start out. So it's really good. I encourage anybody who has not tried it to please try it. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because playing it by yourself is just not as good with playing it with buddies. It's just not. And the fact that it's not cross-platform, which makes no sense. If this was cross-platform, maybe it would have been better for Community Day as well. So there you go. All right, moving on to number 18. Let's get rid of this guy. Whoop. Number 18 of all time. Remember, guys, get your top 10 wrote down. Get your top 5 at the very least wrote down. We'll go through that together. Number 18 of all time. Whoa. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Wait a minute. Why is it 18? Isn't this one of the best Zelda games ever? Weren't you raving and raging and raving and hooting and hollering about this game? Did you not do 40 plus streams of this game? Yes, to all of that. Tears of the Kingdom is a wonderfully crafted game. More realized version, I would say, of Breath of the Wild. Some agree, some disagree. I think it's a wonderful game. Two things. The dungeons suck. The Fire Temple's okay. But I think the dungeons really suck in this game, and it's a shame. And two, it's just too big. It's just too big. It is. The thought of replaying this again kind of gives me that nervous feeling, right? And your body doesn't lie, Jerry. So, as much as I do love this game, it's fallen way down because of that. Skyfall, you remember. Matt says the greatest thing about Tears was all the contraptions you can make. Yeah. The Ultra Hand, which was actually a real Nintendo toy. That was great too. And we do have a special treat. I don't know if we should do this. I do for you guys. I have queued up right now. I have my very first YouTube video from 2019. Oh, I have that queued up. Legends, do you want to see this piece of crap? Just cut the music. Cut the music. We're at 18. Do you guys want to see? Well, we'll do it after 15. But do you want to see my very first YouTube video? Some of you might have already seen it. Cutthroat, I just told you, buddy. It's so big. It's just very daunting. And the time it would take, the man hours it would take to go through it again is the only reason. I can live with the dungeons, even though they're not great. I can live with that. But it's so big, and this begs the question, for the next Zelda, do we want a return to form, Ocarina Majora's Mask style? Or do we want to continue with these giant open worlds? I think the most precious resource in all of this, especially as we all get older, is time. And I got to be honest, as much as I want to play it again, I don't have the time. And that really sucks. It's just too big. We'll load it up at 15. You can see my first YouTube video. Oh my God. It's so bad. I don't even know. I'm going to have to turn my camera off. I'm not going to be able to watch it. It's so bad. God. All right, that's 18. We're at 17, ladies and gentlemen. Number 17 of all time. Final Fight. Now, this is the one-up version. Yes, I know. But I needed to find a clear JPEG of a Final Fight arcade cabinet. So this is what you get. Final Fight for the arcade. Wake Up says, I want a side-scrolling Zelda, like a Zelda 2 again. I would like at the very minimum from Nintendo, I would like a remaster of Zelda 2. 100%. I would totally dig that. I think it would be great. Even like a remake or a remake of 2 or a remake of the first one. I think a remake of 2 because I think a lot more people need to get turned on to the game. Anyway. Woo! Excuse me. HGC says, final fight is when your mom says, we got you Street Fighter 2 at home. 10 says, I broke up with my... What? Oh, sorry. I broke up with video game console. Now my Xbox, nothing personal. Oh, Jesus. It's a joke. I broke up with my video game console. Now it's my Xbox, nothing personal. Oh, my God. It's just time for a Switch. You guys... Average Gamer says I should stay away from Zelda games. In honesty, I've never played any Zelda game on the Switch yet. It depends. There's a couple, right? Average Gamer with the isometric view. I know our buddy Bowler loves that style. But if you're going to do Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, I would honestly encourage you to play Tears of the Kingdom. You could tell Breath of the Wild was developed on older technology. You can tell it was developed on the Wii U. So you have this beautiful Hyrule. But the problem is it's so empty. You go into caves and there's a group of enemies and you might find a chest of arrows. The other thing too I'll mention, I know we're supposed to be talking about Final Fight, but I also don't like how the weapons break apart. You find a really cool sword and you're afraid to use it. As you start to play through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you kind of get used to it, but I still don't like that. Link's Awakening on Game Boy was great. Do you have a Switch, Matt? I can't remember. Bowler's playing through the remake, and looks pretty good. So Final Fight was another one of those games, Average Gamer, that I played for the first time in Grand Bend. It was right next to Dragon's Lair. Maybe why those two games are so important to me, why they're so special. But here we go. Final Fight by Capcom. The beat-em-up genre. I don't know. We did a poll not too long ago, and you guys swore that Streets of Rage was better than this game. I still disagree. I think that Final Fight just plays better. It's a more solid game. Sprites are bigger. The graphics are arguably better. Nice, Neil. I like that. I'll start highlighting some comments here. Just got to go on a different screen from the music. Final Fantasy Arcade was the best. I call Cody. I recall listening to Master of Puppets on the jukebox while playing this. Only the 2-player Turtle game is better than it. Oh, no way. Turtles is not better than this. No way. The feel of the hits in Final Fight is unmatched. Turtles is great, but the hits don't feel that great. Every time you lay into an enemy, it just feels very light. That's just my opinion. Too many quarters on Final Fight, yeah, and the bosses were great. Very cheesy, but that's okay. Yeah, I hear you, Matt. I hear you with the PC gaming for sure. Switch is worth owning. Any Nintendo console is worth owning for Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon, Metroid. Any of the Nintendo IPs you can't get anywhere else. I will always own a Nintendo console because of those. I mean, that's power, man. Now you're playing with power. So we always start Final Fight the same. We always start with Hagar. And then usually on my first or second continue, we go to Cody. But we always end the game with Guy. I think Guy is my favorite. He's just so damn cool. And he was in Street Fighter Alpha. I guess, what was Cody in? Street Fighter 4? Yeah, Cody was in 4. And Hagar was in a Capcom wrestling game that I can't remember. Oh, Alpha 2? Okay. Oh, no, what are you talking about? You could do 4-player co-op on Turtles. Oh, gotcha. Guy was in Street Fighter 4 as well. Oh, interesting. They did Cody in Street Fighter 4. Yeah, he's like a jailbird. I remember like his default outfit is like the prison stripes with the shackles that he broke out of. Yeah. Never understood enough of his backstory beyond the first final fight, to be honest with you guys, but there you go. All right. We are moving on to, yeah, especially since Mike Hagar, right? Mike Hagar's daughter is Jessica, who at the time Cody was dating. Like the whole point of the game is to save Jessica. And Mike Hagar is the friggin' mayor. He's the friggin' mayor and he couldn't do anything for Cody? You're right, Matt. That's just dirty. That's dirty talk. 16. Saturday Night Slam Masters. Thank you, Average Gamer. I couldn't remember it. Yep. Is Mike Hagar in any other games? Does anybody remember? Anyone remember? Didn't they turn Cody into a drug zombie? Which game is that? Oliver. Good to see you, mate. Jay, what I hate playing the Final Fight arcade is the villainous Andor Giants. Oh, yeah. They were based off of Andre the Giant. And Roxy was based off of our good pal, Jeannie Besson from Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. They used her persona from her wrestling career to model after Roxy, the female thugs in Final Fight. How cool is that? Did you guys know that? Majora's Mask. The black sheep next to Zelda 2, I suppose. This was my favorite Zelda for quite a long time. It is unique. It is dark. There's a lot of horror elements to Majora's Mask, which again, I love horror movies and games, so it all works. The time element in this game is incredible. I don't think any game has done it as well. The whole Groundhog Day aspect of Majora's Mask is really original. Dungeons are pretty good. They're pretty good in Majora's Mask. The power-ups, well, when you go into the dungeons, the dungeon items really lack. So all the dungeon items in Majora's Mask are the fire, ice, and light arrows. Okay. Which is pretty weak. But if you consider that the masks more than make up for it, like the Zora, you could do all the swimming and you basically have the boomerang, the Zora mask. The Goron, you have the rolling ability, so on and so forth, right? So everything kind of balances out. But a weak point, again, is those arrows. Not a huge deal, but it is a weak point. Because we know when we go into a dungeon in Zelda, we look forward to that item, which will not only help us progress through the dungeon, but will help us progress through the game and go back through old parts of the game to uncover secrets that we didn't find before. Patrick says Pac-Man all the way. Congrats, dude. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for being part of the Legends Club, and thank you for being part of this journey. I appreciate it. I don't know this game. I heard you need a guide for this. Yes. Bowler, you should try it. It's on the Switch. So this leads me to... Maybe we'll jump back to Majora's Mask. But the fact that, Bowler just said you need a guide is one thing that is a big turnoff for people because of the 3-day time element. You really got to kind of have a plan in place and kind of know what you're doing. You're retreading a lot, which I don't mind in these games. It's a fantastic Zelda game. It really is. Anyone who has not played Majora's Mask, please give it a try. It gets a lot of crap also for using the same assets as Ocarina. Cares, right? Is that big of a deal? Moving on. 15. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. The second of the 5 versions of Street Fighter 2 that were released in the arcade. This second version allows us to play as Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and Bison, the 4 end bosses in the game, which I cannot tell you how friggin' cool that was back in the day. Only a year later from the release of the World Warrior, we get a new version and 4 new characters. When you look at the history of Capcom fighting games now, if you look at, for instance, Street Fighter 6, you will get a new fighter every season, right? So every 4 months, you're going to get a new fighter. That's just the way it is. Champion Edition, and I know times were different back then, but Champion Edition give you 4 fighters right off the hop, so you have access to play as the bosses. This is, out of the 5, my favorite. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, not a huge fan of the turbo speed. Super Street Fighter 2 was great in that we got 4 new characters. We got DJ, Cammy, T-Hawk, and Fei Long. And then a lot of people say that the climax or the best version of Street Fighter 2 is Super Turbo, which is the 5th. I would again disagree. But to say that, this game changed the face of arcades, I mean, forget even that. This game changed the landscape of gaming in general. It brought in so many people who didn't know much about fighters. And fighting games weren't a huge genre. And when I say fighting games, I don't mean beat 'em ups. So I don't mean like Final Fight, Pit Fighter, stuff like that. I mean one-on-one fighting games. This also rose out of the ashes of maybe one of the worst fighting games in history, which is Street Fighter. Street Fighter 1 is brutal. But yeah, look at the arcade cabinet here. Look at the 1 and 2 player slots, and who remembers putting their quarter down, saying, "I got next. I got next." Who remembers doing that? Such amazing memories, challenging people, waiting in line. And of course, those of you who are around Sundays for our Electronic Gaming Monthly reads, when Street Fighter finally came to the home console, the first version on Super Nintendo, it was still one of the most exciting moments I can recall in gaming. Just to have such a great port of that game at your fingertips was insane. Aunt Connie would always cut in front of you. Yeah. She didn't give a lips, dude. She didn't. Also, I'll throw in there, too, the Champion Edition was also expanded upon World Warrior, where you could play the same character. So it was no longer, if you're dropping in challenging a character or challenging a player, you had to worry about somebody picking Guile if that was your guy. Because now both of you could be Guile. Skyfall says, I remember entering the arcade and hearing Hadouken over and over again. Oh, yeah. The poor son of a lips that got placked to the corner with a Ryu that would just spam the fireball, and you're just sitting there blocking. You see that chip damage. You're like, come on, man, let up. So good. This is a perfect game. Are all these from the 15 to the 1st going to be perfect? We'll have to see. But, ladies and gentlemen, 75,000 subscribers in my 5 years on YouTube. Well, it didn't all start off as video games. A lot of you are here from when the channel used to be a toy channel. There's a brief period when it was kind of a Star Wars channel, kind of a toy channel. At any rate, I'm going to share with you now my very first YouTube video. I can't even hit the button. I can't even hit the button. I'm so freaking nervous right now. This is bad. Like this is just like it's awful. This is the worst video that you're ever gonna see. Are you guys ready? For the 75,000 subscriber party, I wanted to share with you where the journey started. Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the Black Series Mandalorian figure. There he is there in all his awesomeness. So this guy actually came out Force Friday this year. He's part of the newer wave, and Hasbro is doing something actually really different this time around. They're doing first editions, which for the Black Series means they come in this white box. So the first printing of him will be all in white. The whole wave was like that too. I also got Kylo Ren and a few other characters as well, like Rey. It's really super cool, and I thought I would do this today because today is the very first episode of The Mandalorian, which is on Disney Plus. And I think it's an absolutely fantastic show so far. I think it hits all the beats of Star Wars, which is definitely necessary. Oh, you young fool.
And as of right now, it's only been one episode, but as of right now, it's not relying too heavily on everything else. I even love how...
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can watch this. This video is not even 3 minutes long. Well, dude, I said Disney Plus without throwing up. Well, this was like when we were young and we didn't know any different. But look at Star Wars Black Series 2019 Mandalorian first printing. Being in it came in that white box. Who cares? Dude, this is how all my videos were. The toy stuff. Most of it was the in-hands reviews, that you get.
They mentioned the holiday special with Life Day and Boba Fett riding the big dragon. I can't remember its name right now, but that's really cool. So let's check this guy out. So he is super cool and ultra detailed. He comes with the staff that is similar to the one Boba Fett had in the holiday special. Let's get a little closer there.
Not even any music or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a fantastic sculpt. And normally I would open this guy up, but because he is first edition,
I don't even open it.
I want to keep him sealed up in this box here. I know I should let him out, but unfortunately, this is where he's going to stay. Maybe if I come across another one in a regular black box, I'll open him because I would love to photograph this.
Don't you buy two of those, Bartlett. Don't you do that. You just buy the one. Don't you do that. You don't need one to open. Don't you do it, you poor son of a bitch.
Here he is, the Mandalorian.
How boring is this?
This is the most sought after.
Do I open it? No.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But he is just too cool. I really dig everything about this, and I dig the way Hasbro is going with the white box in the first editions, like I said already.
And let's quote Mr. Bartlett of 2019. I like where Hasbro is going with this. Hey, young fool. Only now at the end. Do you understand? What a young fool I was. I can't even get through this.
It's cool. It just makes it a little bit more exciting for us collectors. It makes the hunt a little bit more thrilling. And it definitely puts a timeline on things because after these guys are gone, there's nothing left except the black box version.
What am I saying? I can't watch this. What is the white background? I have a white light box. Except I only had the one strip of lights on. I didn't have any key lights on. So it's terribly lit. One. Two, there's no microphone, right? Which is not the end of the world. And three, I'm not even going to open it anyway. But you got to understand, when I shot this, how friggin' nervous I was. This was the first video I ever did. And just how nervous I was to upload it. I remember when I uploaded this video, I disabled comments because I was so scared. I think like 30 people watched it.
Which is the same figure, but still very cool. The Mandalorian. Check it out, guys, on Disney Plus. And this is my...
Yeah. There it is. That was my first video. What do you guys think? How embarrassing. Tell me what you think. Was that a good video or what? No, it was not. Got to start somewhere, yeah. Let's all go back to watch the first video. Oh, it's unlisted, my friend. I've unlisted it, so you don't you worry. Okay, we're at 15, right? Is that where we're at? I mean, wow, how times have changed. Just how, like, friggin' crazy. Like, that whole time was, like, this is when, you know, George took over. Or, sorry, when George sold it. And we got Star Wars movies, but now we're getting, like, the first live-action Star Wars TV show. And I'll still say that first Mandalorian season was fantastic, man. I know. You know what they say, Matt. You're just hard on yourself, right? Speaking moistly, good to see you, buddy. How are you? How have you been? The best part of the video was when it was over. Oh boy. Jeez. Golly. Yeah, and it wasn't even 3 minutes long. Not even 3 friggin' minutes. Whoa. Okay. Let me go grab another coffee, guys, okay? We're going to continue. We have the top 15 my favorite games of all time. I want you guys to write down your top 10, or at the very least your top 5, and we'll go through that together and kind of compare. That sounds fun. We should do that. So go grab a coffee, refill, and I'll be back in a little bit less than 5 minutes, okay? All right, guys. This is the story of a rival gaming company that not only challenged Nintendo for console supremacy, but challenged the king himself, Mario, to be the face of gaming itself. This is the history of Sonic the Hedgehog. Our story of Sonic starts with the Japanese game developer Sega, who in the 1980s was a dominant force in the arcades. Sega, responsible for such arcade hits as Choplifter, Outrun, and Space Harrier in the arcades, saw the impact of the Nintendo Entertainment System in North America and wanted a piece of the market. Sega decided to launch a version of the SG-1000 series, the third version to be exact, the Sega Mark III, in North America. And with a redesign, the Sega Master System was born. The system launched in 1986, pretty much the same time as the NES did nationwide. Now, it should be noted that Nintendo did release the NES to limited test markets in New York in October of 1985 and Los Angeles in February of 1986. Unfortunately, the Sega Master System wasn't selling well in North America. It didn't help that Sega themselves only had 2 third-party companies making titles for them at the time: Parker Brothers and Activision. Nintendo's very strict licensing agreements with its publishers meant that if a game appeared on the NES, it couldn't appear on any other console for a minimum of 2 years. This left Sega themselves doing a lot of the heavy lifting and developing with their in-house game studio for the majority of their games. Meanwhile, the NES had an impressive lineup of launch games, but one in particular was stealing the show. A plumber that could grow in size, shoot fire, and travel down magical pipes was stealing the hearts of gamers worldwide. A platforming game with warp zones, bosses, and an actual ending to the game. Sega needed something like this. A face to their brand like Mario was for Nintendo. Sega originally had Opa Opa, the lead from their game Fantasy Zone, but needed something stronger and with a little bit more personality. Alex Kidd in Miracle World was released in Japan in November of 1986 and North America in December of 1986. The game was created by Kotaro Hayashida. Alex uses the martial art known as Shellcore to take down his enemies and to destroy terrain getting in his way. One thing that set the Alex Kidd games apart from the Super Mario Bros. Games was that in Super Mario Bros. Franchise, the gameplay was very similar, whereas with Alex Kidd, every new version played differently. In fact, the only direct sequel to Miracle World is Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle for the Sega Genesis. Alex Kidd in Miracle World was much slower than Super Mario Bros., with controls being described as floaty by many gamers, which isn't necessarily bad, they just weren't nearly as tight and precise as Super Mario. Overall, the Alex Kidd series isn't bad, it's just no Super Mario Bros. Sega needed more. With the launch of the Sega Mega Drive in Japan in October of 1988, and the Genesis in North America in August of 1989, Sega's in-house development team was tasked with bringing as many of Sega's arcade games and porting them to the home console in an attempt to compete with the Nintendo Entertainment System and the rival 16-bit machine, the PC Engine, known in North America as the TurboGrafx 16, with their brand new mascot, Bonk. Within the walls of Sega, there was a goldmine of talented individuals. One such programmer was Yuji Naka, whose early work at Sega was programming Sega's arcade ports for the Master System. Converting Space Harrier and Outrun from the arcade to the Master System was not an easy task by any means. Yuji Naka's big breakthrough was being the lead programmer on Phantasy Star, where he was... We are back. Everyone got their coffees? Everyone ready to rock? What's going on? P. Diddy, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. K. Mac, good to see you, dude. How do you know a party is for a gamer? There are loads of streamers. Oh my God. That's good. That's a good one. I like that one. We're on 14. Okay. 14th of all time. Let's do this. Cue the music. Wow, how many times have we talked about this game on the channel? Nikatronis. Happy Friday. 14, yeah. So, we have played this game a bunch of times on stream. And although the single player is absolutely incredible, there's no doubt about that, this game really does shine with multiplayer. And I was really hoping that when we got this game finally coming out to the Switch and the Xbox and all that, they would have done something with the multiplayer, and they didn't do anything, which really stinks. They should have done that. This game is fantastic. It is legendary. It is a game changer in every way. It's, you know, a game that made console shooters viable. Shooters were pretty much not 100%, but they were mostly on PC. They definitely worked better on PC. But this Rare finally showed us that, yes, you can have a first-person shooter on a console, and it works. Is it a perfect game? I would say so. Yeah, the soundtrack is unmatched. Any soundtrack that Rare does is right up there. Cutthroat, you got your top 10. Again, guys, you got time. Write down your top 10 favorite games of all time. And as we go through them, we can compare. I think that sounds like fun. Some guy you know did a quest for this. I don't know, man. You sure about that? I don't know. There's not really much else to say, guys. GoldenEye is perfect. It was a special time for all of us, 1997. The best Bond film? Nope. But that didn't matter because I think Rare and the team did an excellent job, and they could have made any Bond movie into this game, and it would have been just as good. You know what I'm saying? HEC's got his list. All right. We're at 14. Present. GoldenEye. 13. 13 is missing too. Wow. So didn't like that image either. Wish I could remember what it is. Oh well, moving on. Moving on to 12. Yeah, this program, again, nothing against StreamYards. You've been good to Chad and I and to Will and I, but time to say goodbye, man. There's too many limitations, so another one doesn't work. But we're at number 12. Alone in the Dark. If Perfect Dark isn't number 1, then I'll change my name. Oh my god. It's your number 1, buddy, for sure, right? Well, that's okay. It's hard, man. When you're putting in like your favorite games of all time, it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult to, like, it took me a while. I had them all down and then moving the pieces into order, like what was top 10, 20, and 30 is very difficult. Where do I start with this one? Wow. I specifically wanted to get the 3DO version of this, like the box image of it, because it was the 3DO that I played first. This was a horror game. Think of like the beginnings of Resident Evil. So there was like the polygons, which were new at the time. So the characters and the items and everything you interacted with was actual polygons, but it all had pre-rendered backgrounds. This game had an incredible story, was very scary, and was a system seller for a brand new system at the time called the 3DO, which was getting PC CD-ROM games ported to their console. If you know Alone in the Dark, you know. The first one is great. The music is very atmospheric, very spooky. It would take you a few days to get your top 10. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries. But anyone who's not played Alone in the Dark, I think you can get it if you have Steam. I think it's like $3. If you are a survival horror fan, it is kind of cool to see where a lot of the modern-ish horror games got a lot of their inspiration. It's directly from this game, 100%. Alone in the Dark focuses on specters and ghosts as opposed to zombies and monsters, that kind of thing. So it's more of like a haunting. I guess it's kind of the remake that we played last year. Nothing compared to this. Like this game is good. A little rough to look at now, and it's a little rough play style, but it will always hold a special place in my heart. We're almost to the top 10. Almost. Number 11. Number 11. This is another two-parter. Why I love this game so much. This is an image of the console version that had a very, very short printing. Oops. So this game originally came out. It was called Fortnite Save the World, which was a third-person shooter that was also a tower defense game. That was the original game. And that game in itself is really special and a lot of fun. However, it was obviously the Battle Royale that came out. So basically, Epic Games released this. And Fortnite saved the world. It didn't really do too well. It didn't sell that great. Especially, they're used to selling numbers like Unreal, Gears of War numbers. And Fortnite just wasn't doing it. Hey, but what the heck? PUBG is a really popular game. It's this new Battle Royale where it's 99 versus 1. So, what did Epic do? They basically, I don't want to say copied, but that was a new style of game. They created a Battle Royale, but they did something that will change the industry forever. And that is, they made the game free. Also, another thing they did that was completely amazing was they were one of the first to make the game cross-platform. So not only was Fortnite Battle Royale accessible to every single person on the planet who could download games, but you could play with your friends regardless of how or what system they had. I cannot stress enough how Epic Games has changed the face of video gaming and how important that company is. However you feel about Fortnite, Epic Games is up there with Electronic Arts, with Activision, with Rare, with all these companies that did something to change the industry. Shout out to Epic. Oh my God, Mutron. Mutron with the 49.99. Woo! Dude. Before we get too far in, I just want to congratulate you on an awesome and well-deserved achievement. You're a dedicated creator, a great streamer, and a good friend. Much love, brother. Here's to gaming with friends. Wow. Cheers. Cheers to you, man. Wow. You're keeping me going, guys. You're helping me do this for my career, and I can't thank you all enough for that. It's hard but fun work, and I love being with you guys. I love live streaming. So thank you for the support. Mighty Mutron with the 49.99. God help us. Where's the Tylenol? Let's go. Let's go. Batstan is here. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Having treatment but watching the stream. Well, we're all here with you, buddy. We're all here. So just keep your mind in the stream. And if you can think of it, Batstan, right now, if you can, come up with your top 5. Come up with your top 5. Okay. Let us move on here. So Fortnite is number 11. So we're in the top 10. Anyone who has done 10 to 1, please right now just put 10. Put the number 10 before, and then put your game down. So we're going to number 10. There's so many buttons here. Here we go. Number 10 of all time. Our good old friend Donkey Kong. Cutthroat Comics, number 10. He says Half-Life by the mighty Valve. HGC, number 10. Terran Igma. Did you mention that one before, dude, I think? I don't know what that is. I think we talked about that before. Mighty Mutron, number 10. Tekken 2. Let's go. Great choices, and I'm not going to argue with any of them. I agree with you guys. Donkey Kong is my 10th most favorite game on planet friggin' Earth, ladies and gentlemen. If you know, you know. This game was OG, was released in 1981. Young Shigeru Miyamoto was hired to do the cabinet art for Nintendo. Turned out to become multi-talented, and was a programmer. Hence, we have this first game here, Donkey Kong, which is still to this day one of the most difficult games. Easy to pick up, difficult to master. You know the old saying, but it's true here. This game is still just as fun as it was when I first played it. 2000-ish. I did not play Donkey Kong when it was out originally. I did not. This game saw a big resurgence in popularity due to the documentary King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, which is still an amazing documentary to this day. While watching the one guy and Steve Wiebe go at each other really changed the way I looked at video games. And I had nothing but admiration for everyone involved in that project. The fact that you can love a game so much that you just dedicate a lot of your free time to it to just get a little bit higher in a score, that is something that really, again, turned me around as a gamer, and it really changed me. Anytime I was going to do something difficult in a game, in particular World of Warcraft, whenever we were doing difficult raids or something that was really scary was coming up, I would have, at the time, a portable DVD player, and beside my console, beside my TV, I would have the King of Kong playing. Because it was such an inspiration to me, regardless of what you think of anyone in the movie. And then when I eventually played Donkey Kong, I was like, yeah, this game's really good. Raj says number 10 for him is Street Fighter 3. Oh, nice. Nice. And Batstan says number 10, Dragon's Lair. Batstan, I would have put that at number 1 for you, but perhaps I'm incorrect. Mo says number 10, Desert Bus. Oh, you're changing it, Batstan. You said Tron. Now you're saying, okay, that's fine. Dragon's Lair. There you go. Number 10. All right, number 9. Put them up, my friends. Got to clean up some of these images here. Number 9 of all time. We got the mightiest of all the Mega Man, the second Mega Man. Sitting in at my number 9 position, ladies and gentlemen, Mega Man 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, let's get these up here from you legends. Number 9, Cutthroat Comics is number 9, John Madden Football, the very first one. Hard to argue with that. Nicotronis for number 10 says Turtles by Konami for the NES. You're a brave one, my friend. A brave one. Number 9 for HGC is Medal of Honor Underground. Awesome. I can honestly say I don't think I've put any time into Medal of Honor. Did they not try and reboot that series not too long ago, if I remember correctly? Mighty Mutron says number 9, Ico for the PlayStation 3. That was the dual pack, was it not? What was the other one, Mutron, that came with that? It was Ico and... Was it a Last Guardian 2-pack? Or did it just re-release it on their own? Excuse me. Mo says number 9, TIE Fighter by LucasArts. Matt's joining the fun. Number 10 for him is Morrowind. And then number 9, also TIE Fighter. Really? I feel like I need to play that, as I've never played TIE Fighter. Again, I never had a PC that could play any of those CD-ROM games. That's very cool. Oh, it was on PS1, HGC. Yeah, it's rough now. Shadow of the Colossus, that's right. That's right, because Last Guardian, I think, was on PS4. Yeah. So you got the Ico, Shadow, double pack. Right. Yeah. Nicotronis is Transformers Devastation on 360. That is the 80s one, correct? with the cell shaded auto bits. I'm liking your picks, guys. Liking your picks. Again, get your top 10 in. We're going to go through this together for this back half of the stream. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for the support, both in just being here, subscriptions, and of course, memberships and super chats. You guys you're the best. You really are. I'm tripping over my words here. I feel pretty emotional, so thank you. Okay, we're moving on. I didn't even talk about Mega Man 2. I didn't even talk about mine. I'm so into your lists. Okay. Mega Man 2, we've streamed this a bunch as of late. I think it is the best Mega Man game. I will stand by that. There's difficulty settings in Mega Man. I know some people say this is easy. I don't think Mega Man 2 is easy. I think it's just the right difficulty. I think the improvements made from the first game to this it's like night and day. The levels are a bit shorter. The bosses, I think, are better. The weapons you get are better. And just the upgrades from, the E-tanks, getting those, I just think it's great. The Wily stages are fantastic. The music is legendary. It's some of the best video game music in just history in general. And shout out to the Wily Wars collection on Genesis for doing some 16-bit versions. Raj says number 9, Donkey Kong 64. Oh, it's got Nicotronis. It has... You're talking about the Vince DiCola soundtrack. Is it original or is it like from the movie? Anyway, I think Mega Man is the best of the Mega Mans. Mega Man 2. I just think it's a perfect game. Number 8. Let's get him in the chat. Now we're getting down to it. Now we're really getting down to the games that really shaped us as gamers, the games that mean the world to us. Let's get him. Number 8. Get him on the chat. Let's go. I'll put mine up here. Mario Twins. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. By Capcom for the Super Nintendo. I believe the third in the series. Adding the double jump to Arthur and the different power-ups for the armor. The Mode 7 effects, the soundtrack, everything about this game just screams just that time in gaming for me. I remember getting this in 1991, and by far it blew away Ghosts and Goblins. It blew away Ghouls and Ghosts. As beloved as those two games are, there was nothing like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It is difficult, it is unforgiving, and it don't give a lips. You go all the way to the end, and you got to do it again. It does not give a lips. If you guys have not tried Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and they're all not the same, by the way. If you think they're all the same, they're all completely different games. This has its own different map. I know the first level in most of the Ghost series is the graveyard, but apart from that, they're all different. But I just couldn't live without this game. It's great. Let's see what you guys are saying. Cutthroat Comics is number 8, Halo. Combat Evolved. Good choice. Bubble Bobble for the Commodore 64, says the Mighty Mutron at number 8. Mo says Tetris. Any particular version or? Number 8 for HGC is Mario Twins 2. Mario 2. Would you call that the black sheep of the Marios? I would. That one usually doesn't get the love it should get. We got Super Mario Brothers 3 from Nicotronis. And Raj says Mortal Kombat 3 for the Super Nintendo. Good pick, buddy. Mutron Wake Up says, did you check out Angry Video Game Nerd Commodore 64 episode with the greatest C64 games ever? Good episode. For sure. Yeah. And HGC, once again, it was... Let's just forget for a moment that it was Doki Doki Panic, okay? Let's forget that. And just look at the game in general. Just from maybe aesthetics, maybe from a story point. You had Bowser in the first one in the Mushroom Kingdom. Now, the second game, again, we in the Western world don't know anything about the actual Mario 2. We know this one here, the reskinned Doki Doki, okay? Every enemy is different. There's no fireballs. Now you pick up stuff. It was very much like Zelda, where the first and second games are so drastically different that there wasn't a norm yet. And then, of course, by 3, we got the standard Mario formula. But Mario 2 is special in that I don't think they've really done a game like it since. Skyfall says, probably one of the first games I saw you play with Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I miss those days, buddy. Skyfall's been around for a long time. A long time. Yeah, I've streamed this a bunch. We got to get this on the Monday Hell Ride. We got to get this on the Monday Hell Ride for sure. If you guys haven't played Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and you do have a Nintendo Switch, you just subscribe to Switch Online. You can play this right friggin' now. Okay, so Moisley's got a list. Number 10, Tetris. Tengen or Nintendo? I'm curious. Number 9, Tecmo Bowl. Yes. Number 8, Civ 3. Ooh. Woo. The Thinking Man's game. Woo. Number 8. We are number 7. All right, chat. Get him in there. Number 7. Let's go. Don't you dilly-dally. Don't you dilly-dally. Number 7. It's time to get real. It's time to rock. It's time to rock. Resident Evil 2. I specifically chose the remake over the original. From here on, I would say, I mean, there's a lot of emotion to all of this for us, right? These games are very nostalgic. They speak to us in different ways. They were there to comfort us through horrible times. We celebrated with these games during good times. So there's a lot of emotion when it comes to gaming. This game here, this remake, invokes such an emotion out of me. I can't even really describe it. I'll try my best. It's one of those games where you almost don't want to play it because it's so good. Does that make sense? It's like, I don't want to play that game right now because it's too good. It's too good. That's what I feel about the Resident Evil 2 remake. 2019. Wait a minute. No, it wasn't. It's 2017. 2018. Whatever it was. This does not make the original Resident Evil 2 obsolete by any means. It's a completely different experience playing through the fixed view and the tank controls compared to the over-shoulder third person. Two different experiences that you will love either. I really do believe that. All right, let's get to it. Where are you guys at? Number 7. Cutthroat Comics with Top Gun for the NES. What? That should be on the Monday Hell Ride. Top Gun is brutality. Mighty Mutron at number 7 says, it came from the desert. The Amiga 500. Nice. I like it. I like the hipster picks. HGC, Halo 2, a little independent game you might have heard of. Moisley says, Super Mario Brothers 3. Number 7 for Mo, Soul Calibur 1. Matt Tracker's number 7 is Civilization 5. Nikatronus with Bloody Roar. Whoa, interesting. Interesting. Average Gamer says, here's his list. Number 10, Tetris. Again, I'll ask. Tengen or Nintendo. Number 9, Killer Instinct. Number 8, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And number 7, Halo Combat Evolved. Good list. Good list. JT says Bionic Commando should be on the Monday Hell Ride. I'm not going to argue with that. Bionic Commando's tough. The arcade game, just as tough. Really? Raj, yours is Resident Evil 2? Remake. Not OG. Remake. Super Metroid in my top 3. We shall see. Whether you play Leon or Claire, you get different experiences. It's almost 2 games in one. I cannot recommend Resident Evil 2 more. This remake is a perfect 10 out of 10. It's flawless. It is gorgeous. And you got to play it. Who hasn't played it? Everyone's played this game. Come on. All right, number 6. Moving on. I could just gush about that game all day. Number 6, get him up, chat. Now it's time to friggin' let's get to it now. Okay, well, I'm not going to be happy until someone starts crying. We got to see some tears of joy. Who's going to be the first one? Probably me. Number 6. I can't even show it to you because the feeling I get when I look at the box art just makes me melt. Number 6. It's just beautiful. Bartlett forgot to cut the edges off this one. My apologies. I forgot to cut those white edges off. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Oh, like what do you even say? It's like it's not even a game. It's like a standard. It's not even a game, it's a standard. Hey, what's up, my friend? Congratulations on another milestone, brother. Thank you so much, my friend, and thank you for popping in and hanging out with us. Much love to you, and thank you for the support throughout the years, mate. I can't tell you how it hits right here, man. It hits right here. San Andreas incorporates 3 cities, being the fictional Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and the countryside in between. The first and only Grand Theft Auto to do that. And in doing so, makes every portion of the game, it makes it so you have something even bigger to look forward to because every city in San Andreas has its own color palette, its own look, and its own feel to it. It's such an incredible experience. The soundtrack, we don't even need to talk about the soundtrack. It's God tier. Number 6 for you guys. Let's get into it. Cutthroat Comics. Roller Coaster Tycoon on PC. Interesting. Very interesting. Mutron says Shadow of the Colossus remake on the PS4. HEC with The Legend of Zelda. World of Warcraft for speaking moistly at number 6. Mo, X-Wing goes with your TIE Fighter. Nice. I'm guessing Resident Evil on Jay's top 3. Nikatrona says Pitfall on the Commodore 64. Really? Wow. That's cool, man. Matt says Persona 4 Golden. Number 6 for Raj. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Did I know you were such a Resident Evil fan? I don't know if I knew that. But that's amazing. And Average Gamer with Ninja Gaiden 2 on the 360. Where the F is Josh? I don't know. He does a lot of shift work, right? He does a lot of shift work, so yeah, sometimes he's up late at night, sometimes he's here in the morning. Matt says, I'm not going to lie, going to see a lot of Persona. Gonna see the word Persona a lot. Oh, I believe you, buddy. I know that's your game. So shout out to San Andreas. Another 10 out of 10. Absolute perfect game. I love it. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Top 5. Top 5. Who's ready? Top 5. Coming in at number 5, ladies and gentlemen. The immortal Perfect Dark. The spiritual successor to one of Rare's most successful games, GoldenEye 007. Perfect Dark is an original story crafted by Rare that sees our protagonist, Joanna Dark, one of the best in history, by the way, checking out alien conspiracies, presidential takeovers, in a sci-fi / Blade Runner kind of atmosphere, in a totally original world. Expanding upon not only the single player, but the multiplayer, adding 12 total players. 4 players and 8 bots, or Sims as they're called in the game. Having you, I'm starting to lose my words here, letting you have a total of 12 total in your multiplayer games. Secondary and sometimes third functions for each weapon. I can't tell you how friggin' huge that was. This game is another game that I call a standard. GoldenEye was great. This game is on a whole other level. I don't believe Perfect Dark got the love it deserved because it was released in May of 2000. And in September of the 2000, we got the launch of the PlayStation 2. And again, in our pursuit as gamers back then of the latest and greatest graphics, it was a later release. I'm not saying it didn't do well. Perfect Dark did really well. It did really well. But I think it needs more love. And I'm not talking about Perfect Dark Zero. Perfect Dark Zero is for another time. Let's get to the Legends Club. Number 5 from Cutthroat Comics is the original Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Number 5 from Mutron is GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. Matt says the original StarCraft for Windows PC. Baldur's Gate 2 from Moistly. Interesting. A Link to the Past from HGC. I like that, buddy. I like that. Baldur's Gate 2 from Mo at number 5. This is the first time we've seen this on the list so far. Final Fantasy VII, number 5 from Nikatronis. Average Gamer says the original Super Mario Brothers as well. What are the odds that you and Cutthroat have it in the same position? Amazing. You better believe it's in the top 5, buddy. You better believe it. I don't really have much else to say, except you could see Elvis in Joanna's eye there, the reflection of Elvis the alien. Game's amazing. Oh, and Raj, number 5 is Killer Instinct for Super Nintendo. All right. We're into the top 5 now. Let's get some music. Number 4. Put them up, chat. Number 4. I hope you guys are really thinking about this. We're in the top 5 of our favorite games of all time. Think of the weight of that. So really think hard. Number 4 I give to Rock Band 3. Rock Band 3 was the peak of the series. We got the keyboard peripheral, so we have drums, guitar, and vocals. Now we have a keyboard. That's not what made Rock Band 3 great. What made Rock Band 3 great was not only did harmonics allow you to take all your previous DLC and the single tracks on the disc from the previous Rock Bands into one giant library, but it also allowed for harmonies. So now you could have 3 vocalists. And you know what that means? One friggin' hell of a party. And we did. Every single weekend. Rock Band 3 was released, I believe, in 2011. And still to this day, one of my favorite games, despite the fact that I have not played Rock Band 3 since, I want to say 2017 was the last time. We booted that up in my old place in the basement, cranked it out. It's a perfect game. It's perfect to play by yourself or obviously with a group of friends. Makes it much more entertaining. If you are a music lover or a lover of rhythm games, this is by far the peak of that genre. Where are you guys? Number 4. Cutthroat Comics says Bloody Wolf for the TG16. Mighty Mutron says Resident Evil PS1. Speaking moistly in with StarCraft at number 4. HGC. Here we go with the RPGs. Xenogears. Skyfall's number 4 is Star Control 2. I played that on 3DO, but not the PC version. I'm sure it's the same. Matt says number 4 is Persona Reloaded. For Mo, it's the original Gran Turismo. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. Nikatronis, number 4 is The Legend of Zelda. Average Gamer, Street Fighter 2 Arcade. I'm going to be that guy, Average Gamer. But I'm going to say, which version? I got to know which version. I'm a menace on Rock Band, HGC says. Usually did drums or vocals. When on vocals, I was loud as lips. Yeah, you were, buddy. Raj says number 4, the Mortal Kombat trilogy for N64. Nice. Do you know why that's important? Who was the exclusive character in that, Raj? Who was it? 64 got Chameleon, I think. Oh, if I pull that out of my brain, that would be crazy. Is it Chameleon? But they didn't have the loading times that the PS1 had. So if you picked Shang Tsung, you could morph to a different character like that, where there was a pretty significant delay in the PS version. Chameleon, I remembered. I can't believe it. How did I remember that? How did I remember that, guys? World Warrior. There you go. All right. Top 3. Okay. No joke, okay? No joke anymore. No more joking around. This is our top 3 favorite games of all time. Number 3 of all time. Actually, let's get our rock theme going. Let's get our rock theme going. Number 3 of all time. Wow, Jay. This is a surprise. I'm surprised as well. We have one more part to our Ocarina of Time playthrough. And I have not given it a full playthrough since 1998. But I will tell you this. This has quickly shot up as my favorite Zelda. And now I really understand why this game tops this and Link to the Past. I should say top everyone's favorite Zelda. Ocarina of Time is not only a masterpiece, it's once again a standard game. It sets the standards for this style of game. It's perfect in every way. The dungeons are perfect. The amount of different weapons and things there are to find within the world is perfect. The size of Hyrule, I think, is just right. It's not too big. It's not too small. Going from child Link to adult Link opens up much like the light and dark world of Link to the Past. Absolutely incredible. It is by far the greatest Zelda game. By far. Dale, the first. Welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Let's check in with you legends. Number 3, Resident Evil for the PC. Mighty Mutron says GTA Vice City for the PS2. Speaking Moist, now we got the heavy hitters coming in. Final Fantasy VII. Mo, Civ 2. Look at this. Bam, 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 bam. You're not going to see Power Wash Simulator. I'm just saying. Chrono Trigger. Bam! You can hear the feedback from all the mics dropping here. I'm getting shaken in my seat. I'm getting excited. Mario 64. Bam! Nikotronus. Galaga Arcade. Boom! In the poll. Which, by the way, was won by Pac-Man at 36%. Look at this guy. Out of nowhere. From the very first third-party company in video game history, Activision, comes Pitfall for the 2600. Look at this hipster. Jack Black was in that commercial. Remember that? This is a surprise. I love it. The mighty Matt Tracker says Knights of the Old Republic. Boom! My top game is a hipster choice. Is it Power Wash Simulator? Did I blow that for you? It is, and that's just the standard one. That's not even the collector's edition box. The collector's edition box is like foil gold on it. Yeah, straight to the point. It's like A Link to the Past, right? Straight to the point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me your number 2s. Wait a minute. Maybe I better rephrase that differently. What is your number 2 pick, chat? Come on, legends. Let's see it. Let's see it. Number 2. Let's go. No more baby games. No more baby games. Your number 2 favorite game in history. There's not really words I have for the image that's on the screen right now. Industry standard. It's too small of a description. It's too small of a title for this. Masterpiece, too small. Grand Theft Auto Vice City is if like the gods were to create a game and made it out of fairy dust and dreams and Santa Claus pants. That's what this is. Dreams, angels, Santa Claus pants. All that together gets you Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which is beyond a 10 out of 10, beyond a perfect game. Voice acting talent off the charts. Graphics that improve over time with the newer versions. Like it or hate it, that's fine. A story that is second to none. Second to none. Cast of characters that hits that sweet spot where it doesn't go too over the top, where I find as much as everyone loves 5, as much as everyone loves 4, I find the characters way over the top. This is that sweet spot where it doesn't get too crazy. And the soundtrack! Woo! Bear 11, thank you, my friend. 75K, let's go. Let's get to the Legends Club. Where do we start? I think Cutthroat usually drops it first. I don't see his. Mighty Mutron, number 2. Silent Hill 2 for the PS2. Part of that game still makes me cry. 20 plus years later. Not ashamed to admit that. And you shouldn't. You should never be ashamed for emotion. There he is. Cutthroat, number 2. Pac-Man Arcade. Mike Throat. Ah! Speaking Moistly with Chrono Trigger at number 2. Matt Tracker, Cyberpunk at number 2. These are all beyond heavy hitters. Knights of the Old Republic for the Den of Geek coming in at number 2. Also, Knights of the Old Republic for Mo. HGC, Final Fantasy VI. Best of the number of Final Fantasy games. No comparison. Dale says, I put a lot of time into wrestling games, but when I can't choose, only one. Oh, dude, you can. No mercy. No mercy. Average Gamers, number 2 is San Andreas. Nikatronis says Ninja Gaiden NES. Hot. Number 2 for the Mighty Raj is Killer Instinct Gold. Wow. Didn't see that one coming, buddy. Can this list really even be taken seriously without Plumbers Don't Wear Ties? Well, you haven't seen my number 1. You haven't seen my number 1. Let's see it. For what can top the mighty Vice City? What can top Old Republic? Sorry, Knights of the Old Republic, Ninja Gaiden, San Andreas, Final Fantasy III. What can top this? Get your number 1s up. Let's go. Your favorite game of all time. Your favorite game, the game you can play over and over, the game that you can't live without, the game that is your desert island, Santa Claus pants, angel crafted from the heavens above. Number 1. Just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it all in. Take it all in. We can all just take it easy. Let the moment absorb us. Take it all in. I gotta calm myself down. Let's start with the Legends Club. It's time to wake up, says the Action 52. I believe you. I do. I believe you. And that is better than Power Wash Simulator. So, good pick. Good pick. Cutthroat Comics' favorite game is Metal Gear for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Really? I did not know this. Speaking Moistly says Europa Universalis. Wow. You guys are shocking me here. Mo Doom. Enough said. The Romero Classic. Den of Geeks number 1. Favorite game is Chrono Trigger. I lost a couple years to that game trying to collect all the endings. Mighty Mutron, this I knew. Metal Gear Solid PS1, huh? Matt, I also knew this one. Persona 5 Royale. Average Gamer with Super Mario Brothers 3. We got Tactics from the mighty HGC. Best storyline of any Final Fantasy game. Mechanics and the job character customization keep me going at it for 90 plus hours. Every gameplay and the soundtrack is exceptional. Well, we need a moment of silence here. Oh, wait, I missed a bunch here. Perfect Dark from Raj. Jacques is here. Good to see you, buddy. Rogue Galaxy, that I knew as well. Neil says Resident Evil 4. And Bear 11 says Halo Reach. Nice. No one really we didn't have a tie on number 1. Where do I start with this game? Yeah. I'm such a big horror fan. So to see something in the same vein as Alone in the Dark with a Romero twist and just the Capcom geniuses behind it was something special. This game was released in 1996 for the PlayStation 1. And there is no argument here. It is the greatest survival horror game ever. 2 has crept up there for me. Taken over the spot a few times. So is 3. But none can beat the first game. I like the more simplistic story of Resident Evil 1. It's not as complex as what became of the story. It's very simple. You're in a scary house, a scary mansion, and you have to survive. You can choose to fight. You can choose to run. The choice is yours. But every single action you do in this game has a reward or a consequence to it. Playing through Jill, playing through as Chris, different experience in the same grounds. This is a perfect game, and this is an industry standard. And this is by far, my favorite video game of all time. I could play Resident Evil 1 on the PS1 over and over and over. Yeah, Jacques, I've spoken about it quite a lot over the last years, or the years I've been doing gaming content here. It's the greatest game in history for too many reasons. I love your guys' picks. You guys have some really, really awesome picks. Yeah, Wake Up, it's tough. I wrestled with this a lot. Actually, that's not true. Sorry, I wrestled with the top 30. Top 5 came like that. It was easy. More or less, it's usually been the same, except World of Warcraft got way booted down. Because WoW was my favorite game for a long time. But one of the components I look at when I'm placing these is, do I like to go through it again? And sadly, by my own wishes, by my own will, I have stopped playing World of Warcraft forever. So can I really consider that still my favorite? I don't think it would be fair to do that because I don't play it anymore. And I won't play it anymore, Does this mean we're getting a Resident Evil playthrough again? Oh, my friend, some things are coming down the pipe. Chantel, good to see you. Nothing can beat Resident Evil. It's just the best. I agree. It's a perfect game. Neil, we give ellipse. Our good buddy Neil is a content creator on YouTube. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Make sure you check it out. Bowler giving us a recap here. Top 10 would be Ninja Gaiden 2, Castlevania 4, Final Fantasy, 2, Zelda Link to the Past, and then Mega Man 3. Dude, that's a hot list. Look at this guy. Look at these guys. Guys, you gotta... Thank you. Mutron with the 1999. Really missed hanging with the Legends Club these last few days. This stream has been the perfect way to celebrate 75,000 subscribers and hanging with good friends. Yes, and it is about hanging with friends. It's really what my streams are all about. Thank you for the 1999, dude. And the kind words you and I have exchanged the past few days have meant the world to me. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you for that. Our good buddy Destro is here. 22 months as a member. Man, can't thank you enough, dude. Want to see you more in here. And I'm interested to know where your gaming journey is taking you, Destro. Seeing where you're going with that. Next up, 100,000. Jacques, member for 19 months. Once again, congratulations on 75K. Lovely to see you and your beautiful wife here. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And I want to say Jacques and his wife, Chantel, were here with Dale at the very beginning when I was streaming to 2 to 3 people. And there was no community. It was us. So shout out to you guys for being there. Really appreciate that. Average Gamer, it's been 3 months already of just pure awesomeness having you here, having you carry us in Fortnite. Congratulations on hitting 75K, Jay. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the love and support, guys. I want to do more of the talking head stuff, like I said last week. Hopefully, once a week we'll do this. It's a lot of fun. All right, congrats to Resident Evil for making my number 1. Love you too, buddy. Thank you. Chantel, member for 11 months. Let's go. Let's go. It has been an awesome journey. Look at this guy here. His lovely family supporting the channel. Do you remember? Do you and Chantel remember? This is going back 2022 now. Do you remember what game we were playing? This is going to take you back, man. I don't know if you or Chantel will remember. It was just you and me and her and maybe Dale. Do you remember what game that was? I was near the very beginning, man. If you don't remember, that's okay, because I don't remember. But those were special times, and that was like 3 years ago. It was Zelda, was it? Was it Majora's? I think it might have been Majora's now that I think about it. Yeah, it might have been Majora's. Trying to think. Those were the times. Back in the early days when we were going half YouTube, half Twitch. Yep, you are Dale the First. Look at this legend right here. I am Dale the First. I was happy to be here in the beginning. That's how I imagined you said that. What a journey. What a friggin' journey, man. We have met some awesome people because of your streams and videos. Yeah. And again, if you guys are a channel member, make sure you get into the Discord because we love to hang out. We love to hang out, and it lets us kind of communicate with each other when the streams aren't live. Mutron with the joke. I gotta go look for my watch. I would have done it earlier, but I couldn't find the time. Yes. The Royal Guard keeps us in check and says, community stream tomorrow. Yes, we are doing a Marvel-themed Fortnite stream for channel members. Fear not, if you're a channel member and you don't have a Marvel skin, you are still welcome. I just kind of like to do themes. HEC with the 11 months. Showed up for the G.I. Joe talk, stayed for Aunt Connie and the peeps. Thank you, my friend, for the membership. 11 months. Yeah. Yep, we've transformed from a slight Star Wars channel to the toys. Now our final destination, which is the game channel. Thank you for all of those who came for the ride. We lost some along the way, and I get that. But we've gained so much more, so I appreciate it. The tester, those were the days. We already know, actually it's been long enough, I probably forget who won each season. I was the Overwatch or Fortnite, you were playing the first. My first stream was Fortnite. Yep, you were there. I was playing with my buddy Zach. Gaming tattoo? Yeah, so I'm gonna get the Triforce right here. Like my logo. I just don't know when. But that's the next tattoo I want to get. Gotta find the time for that. Jay, this has been one of the most awesome streams in a long time. The fitting 77,000 celebration. Thanks, brother. You're welcome, my friend. Yeah, I discovered you through Chad. Yeah, nice. I don't have Randy's mom queued up because it's a different program. It's not on this. Not on this. This is StreamYards. It's different from when I do the game streams. It's a completely different program. Destro says, I'm checking in from work. Happy you're doing Monday to Friday. Now I'll be able to watch your streams live when I'm off. I may not say a lot, but I'm watching your streams. Makes me happy. Thanks, buddy. Schedule's still up in the air. I had to take this week off for a number of different reasons. One being that I'm not putting enough time into my produced videos. So I'm still trying to balance that out, guys. So please bear with me. I know it's been a lot of changes. Just bear with me, okay? Matt says, I still remember the first verses I got recommended to view by YouTube. Really? And that gifted membership from Santa Brandon. And it was all off to the races. Yeah, buddy. Long time ago. Long time ago. Jay literally connects people from across the world. Me and my wife are in South Africa, says Jacques. Well, I think we're like-minded individuals. We all share a passion for all this nerd stuff we like, right? So I can't take all the credit. I just can't. Yeah. I don't think it'll be a Monday to Friday total. I'll have to see. I'm still working on it. We got 22 months from the Royal Guard. JT, it's been a great almost 2 years hanging out. Thank you so much, buddy. Much love to you. Can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, the toy stuff. It's just not in me anymore, Jacques, unfortunately. There's a million different reasons why that is, but a lot of it is too the YouTube algorithm. Now that I've converted to video games, it messes it up. But I'm just not into collecting the toys much anymore. So the video games is our final form. It's our final form. The fake British accent. If you show up tomorrow, Mutron, I will do my Liam Gallagher impersonation. Den says, I wandered in here from action, figure adventure, and Nintendo Quest. Been hooked ever since. You legends make it awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys are friggin' awesome. We are the Legends Club. Shauna's here from Facebook Land. Congratulations, missed the stream. Hey, you can come by anytime, my friend. We miss you. Hope you're doing well. And thank you for dropping by. Appreciate that. I just gotta put this bad boy up again. I gotta put up. Just put up. Let's just put up. Just look at that. Our number one. My number one. Unreal project for the community. You could, do whatever you want. Definitely, do whatever you want, buddy. What are you doing on Facebook? Get over on the YouTubes. I know, Mutron. I know that the time difference is a little rough for you. Gonna be in town Sunday. There's a collectible show I'm thinking about going to. Oh yeah, that's right. I keep seeing it in my socials. Yeah, that should be fun. I find that around our area, Destro, there's like a lot of the same vendors. I don't know if there'll be much gaming stuff there, but it's definitely toys and like Pokemon cards and sports cards, that kind of thing. Humbled, grateful, appreciative, all of the above. I can't thank you guys enough for making my dreams come true. 75,000 on and upward. You guys are the absolute best. And tomorrow is our community day. Make sure you come on by at 10 a.m. Listen to a bunch of legends playing Fortnite. Marvel theme. If you got a Marvel skin, bring it on in. This has been our 75,000 subscriber live stream party. You guys are the absolute best. I am Jay. I am out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. Wrong button.